Welcome to our new topic to be discussed today. How are you? I hope you are all fine. All right. So now we will talk about the preparation of the appetizer. So I will not give you the entire topic, the entire content, the entire concept of the appetizer. Instead, we will just focus on canapes. No? Appetizer is a broad topic, malawak na topic to, and a separate topic as well. So for now, magpo-focus lang muna tayo sa canapes. All right, are you guys ready? Let's start our discussion on the concept of appetizer. Okay, a brief concept of appetizer, and of course, a concept on canapes. All right, so let's continue. Ayan. When we say appetizers, no, these are small portion of food items which is served as the first course to stimulate the appetite. So from the word appetizers, no, the root word here is appetite. It boosts our appetite. So it is served as the first course, no, to stimulate our appetite, especially when we are attending an event, no? So, binibigay talaga itong appetizer na to. So, this may be served in liquid, no? Pwede siyang liquid form, it can be solid form, and it is important that an appetizer should be colorful, dainty, decorated, and well-presented. So, dapat, since appetizer to, sa mata pa lang, no? Ay appetizing na siya, no? Appetizing to the eye, appealing to the eye. So, this is what we call appetizer. So, in French, we call it hors d'oeuvres, no? In Italian, we call it antipasto or antipasti, no? In Filipino, tinatawag natin itong pampagana, no? So, di ba, sa Filipino, dito sa Philippines, we have what we call chicharon, no? Those fresh lumpia, lumpiang Shanghai, tokwa at baboy are considered as, no, some examples of appetizers. And in English, it is called appetizer, okay? So again, this is what we call as small portions of food items serve as the first course to stimulate the appetite. All right, let's continue. Now, other than that, when we say appetizers, no, it is a small piece or a portion of highly seasoned food, no, as defined a while ago, a small piece or portion of highly seasoned food, which is usually served before a meal to induce and stimulate one's appetite, and it gives appreciation to the food we eat. Ayan. So, mas na-appreciate natin yung kakainin nating pagkain sa handaan, no? Kung ano man klaseng handaan ang ina-attenda natin, mas na-appreciate natin yung food natin kasi na-boost na yung appetite natin, na-stimulate na yung appetite natin because of the appetizers being served to us. So, a good appetizer, whether hot or cold, no, should be light, no? Hindi siya heavy. Kasi appetizers lang naman yan. And it's served in small quantities. Kaya yung mga mahilig kumain ng appetizer na pagkarami-rami, ay sobra naman, baka sobrang maboost yung appetite natin. So it should be light and it should be served in small quantities only. So it can be fresh vegetables, it can be salad, it can be fruits, ayan, and it can even be fish, no, which can be made into appetizers. So as I said, no, appetizers should be presented in an attractive and functional way. Okay? And then, when served at a table or in a buffet or in a cocktail party, they provide a chance, no, for creative plating dapat. Okay? So, this is all about appetizers. So, as we continue, let us learn more about appetizers. So, sabi dyan, at dinners, banquets, and the like, no, appetizers may be served prior to a meal. Prior to a meal, before the main course, no, before we eat, no, because the main purpose of this, again, is to stimulate our appetite. So, this is especially common at weddings, no? Pag naghihintay ka habang naghihintay kang kumain, no, kasi matagal-tagal talaga ang seremonyas ng wedding, lalo na kapag ang wedding ay nasa mismong venue na, maghihintay ka talaga ng matagal. Kahit nga wala sa venue, di ba? Maghihintay ka talaga ng matagal. So while we are waiting for the main course, no, the main dish to be served, nagbibigay muna sila ng mga appetizers sa table natin. I remember when I attended a wedding as a parang principal sponsors, talagang ang daming appetizers na nakalatag sa table. So, bukod doon, 'di ba, mapapawi agad yung gutom mo, no? Hindi ka kagad makakaramdam ng gutom. And at the same time, gaganahan kang kumain once the main course or main meal is served, no? I remember hinainan kami ng mga kwek-kwek, fish balls, kikiam, yan mga fries, etc. So those are some examples of appetizers that we have in our country. So ayun nga, and sabi diyan habang naghihintay tayo sa wedding party, no, yung mga guests, no, naghihintay tayo ng guest sa reception natin. So, ayan, ina-offer sa atin yan. So, we have different classifications of appetizers. So, as I said kanina, appetizers is a broad topic, no? So, for now, i-introduce ko lang sa inyo yung mga classifications of appetizers. Sabi nga natin, no, we have hors d'oeuvres. Hors d'oeuvres is a French term, a French word for appetizers. So when we say hors d'oeuvres, this refer to the variety of appetizers, no? So while often served preceding to a meal, they are served as the food at cocktail parties, like mga parties na involving alcoholic beverages, no? So hors d'oeuvres can be served hot or cold. Then, another type of appetizer, meron tayong tinatawag na cocktail. Ano naman tong cocktail? A cocktail is a dish of fruit. No? It can be a dish of shellfish that is served before a meal, which is usually consisting of shrimp, no? Dahil shellfish yan, lobster, crab meat, shellfish. No, since nabanggit ko kanina, a dish of fruit, yan, pwedeng iba't ibang klase ng fruits na hiniwa or in-slice natin. And pwede ding mga vegetable juices and all that. Then, other than that, no, mga pag pinag-usapan kasi yung type of appetizer, aside from the hors d'oeuvres or the variety of appetizer, aside from what we call cocktails, we also have yung mga relishes, no, these are chopped pickles, ayan, na nilalagyan ng mga dips, etc. And lastly, for the type of appetizers, we have of course canape. So ang canape is one type of appetizer lang. Okay? So one type of appetizer lang siya. A canape is a small pieces of bread filled, no? As we discussed further, no, didiscuss natin, papalawakin natin yung canapes na yan. And they are what we call open tiny face sandwiches. So last time, didiscuss natin sa isang lesson natin yung mga type of canapes, no? I mean type of sandwiches rather. Na nabanggit natin doon yung mga open face sandwiches. So we will discuss further canapes mamaya-maya. Alright, so again, these are the four types, no? Yung four types of appetizers, no? We have hors d'oeuvres, the cocktails, we have the relishes, and of course, canapes. And as I said, we will focus muna on canapes. Alright, let's continue. Okay. So now, we have here an inspiration board where you can see a lot of examples of canapes, di ba? Yan, na-creatively done, no? Naka-plate, nakalagay sa mga trays, no? And maganda at maayos talaga siya. Very colorful siyang i-prepare. So, ganito ang mga itsura ng tinatawag nating appetizers, specifically canapes. Alright, so let's discuss canapes. Alright, so when we say canapes, class, ayan, the word canape is actually derived from the old French canape, no, which means couch. So as the French taught that these savory dollops of food placed on pieces of toast resembled people sitting on couches. So in France, they have been served since the late 18th century and are usually accompanied by a welcome drink. So even before pa, no, kilala na talaga si canape, no? Sa as what is stated in this slide, no? As early as 18th century, no, late 18th century rather, ay ginagamit na or ginagawa na yung mga canape to, na accompanied with a welcome drink, no? So it is a French term. Yan, galing siya sa French term canope or canape, which means couch. Alright? Next. So, nowadays, no, since late 18th century pa siya sa France, no, nowadays or today's canapes are often seen at special events, no, and parties. And they can be served hot, pwede rin i-serve ng cold. Now, with flavors ranging from salty to spicy. Usually, yun yung mga flavors talaga ng canape. Salty to spicy. So, canapes are small, prepared, no, and usually decorative foods. held in the finger, mga ano lang siya, mga finger food lang siya, and often eaten in one bite. So hindi siya malalaki. As in, pag subo mo kagad lahat, no? Maliliit lang siya. That's why sometimes nilalagyan siya ng mga toothpick, no? Tinutusukan siya ng toothpick para doon tayo hahawak sa toothpick kung ayaw nating bare hands natin yung gagamitin natin for eating canapes. So, buffet, cocktail parties, ayan, meron tayong mga makikitang mga canapes that even mga children's birthday parties, no? We lend ourselves to small finger foods or what we call mga hors d'oeuvres or simple appetizers. Now, a canape, katulad na nabanggit, French, canape is a type of hors d'oeuvre. So, this is a type of hors d'oeuvres, no? A small prepared and often decorative food, katulad na nabanggit, consisting of a small piece of bread, sometimes toasted. So, may mga bread talagang kasama si canape. Pwede ring puff pastry, pwedeng cracker, no? Wrapped, or topped with some savory food. And as I said ulit, no? It is being held in the fingers and often eaten in one bite only. Okay? Next, other definition of canapes, a bite size, no? Take note of this word. A canape is a bite-sized portion, open-faced sandwiches consisting of small portions of food which is being placed on bases of bread, may toast, pwedeng pastries which can be easily handled and eaten. So those are, no, the definitions of canapes or the descriptions of canapes. And lastly, for the description and definition of canapes, we have, ayan, canapes daw are made out of thin slices of bread, no, in different shape. Kasi in making canapes class, whether, alimbawa, you will be using bread, no, mga bread cutouts, of course, makaka-create ka ng different shapes of bread. Kasi we have different shapes, yung mga, may mga iba't iba tayong pangkat, na pang mga tools na pangkat ng ating mga breads na yan. No, yung mga biscuit cutter natin, pwede natin gamitin in cutting our bread for us to create different shape. No, pwede rin nating i-toast yung bread natin, pwede din natin silang i-saute or i-dip sa butter or yung mga parang well-seasoned mixture of egg, yan, cheese, fish, or meat. Pwede siya lang. Okay? So that's canapes. Now, since we are talking about canapes, let's discuss the parts of canapes. If you can still remember, when we discussed sandwiches, may mga bahagi or components ang ating sandwiches. I don't know kung nakatandaan ninyo, but just a sort of review, sabi natin, yung sandwich, meron tayong base, ang sandwich, meron tayong filling, di ba? Ayan, meron tayong spread. So, those are the components or parts of our sandwich or sandwiches. Now, let's discuss about the parts of canapes naman. Ayan, ma'am naman ang liit-liit, no? But may parts pa. Sabi mo, ma'am, a canape is a bite-sized portion, no? A finger food. Why is it may part pa si canape? So, meron talaga siyang parts na to make it more creative and colorful. Kasi can you imagine, kunyari, bread lang siya, tapos top with something lang. So, parang hindi ganun siya ka-creative or ka-colorful. So, hindi siya appetizing sa ating mga mata. So, let's talk about the parts of canapes. Ayan, sabi nga natin, it is a finger food consisting of 3 parts. So, may 3 parts din siya. Actually, sa picture, naging 4 because of the garnishing, because of the garnish. So, we have, of course, the base, ayan, the spread. Kasi si spread tsaka si topping, magkasama na siya. Pangatlo si garnish, alright? Ayan, so, naging 4 siya. Ayan, naging 4 siya because pinagsama kasi si spread, si topping. So, magkasama dapat si spread and si topping. So, base, spread, and garnishes, okay, are the 3 parts of what we call canape. So, when we say base, this, of course, katulad sa sandwich, no, a base hold the spread and garnish, no? When we say base, it can be crackers, no, it can be a toast which are firmer and give a pleasing texture and crispiness. Alright? So, when we say spread, it is placed on top of the base so the garnish sticks it without falling off. So, kasama na sa spread, pinagsama na yung si toppings. Now, lastly, for the parts of canapes, we have garnish. So, any food item or combination of items placed on top of the spread, which usually gives color, no, design, texture, or flavor accent to the canape. So, canape food design, yan, can be an interesting area to consider. And parang there are four distinctive elements of canapes, no? Yung as stated in the given picture or in the given example, may apat na elements ang canapes, no? The base, the spread, topping, and a garnish. But actually, tatlo lang talaga yung parts niya. Sinamahan na lang, kumbaga, inihiwalay na lang yung toppings for that. Alright? So, katulad ng nabanggit ko kanina, a canape-based ingredients are usually bread, no? Pwede rin siyang puff pastry, pwede rin crackers, allowing a solid foundation. Basta solid foundation. Solid dapat yung base niya, no? For the rest of the canapes kasi papatungan pa yan ng spread, lalagyan pa yan ng toppings, plus of course, with the garnishes. So, dapat yung base natin should be a solid foundation. Then, when we say spread, ayan, place on top, ayan, yung base kasi, yung base kasi is being followed the base is being followed by the spread, no? And the canapes finish off with garnish and sometimes a glaze for the full impact. Nilalagyan pa yan ng glaze. So, not all type of canapes will follow this formula. Take note ha, not all type of canapes, of course, will follow this formula. It depends on the ingredients used and the intentions of the one making the canape. So, halimbawa, ako gusto ko lang sundin yung base spread topping. Ayoko na ng garnishing. But pwede naman yun. Say, for example, I will just follow the base, toppings, and garnish. Pwede naman din yun. Kaya lang, may mga parang makikita ka na may missing sa parts mo or sa components mo. Ulitin ko lang po, let me just clear this to you. Based on the given picture, we have the four elements of the canapes, no, such as base, the spread, toppings, and garnish. But in general, we only have the three parts of what they call canapes: the base, the spread, and the garnish. So again, no, not all types of canapes, hindi lahat ng type, marami kasing type ng canapes, hindi lahat ng type ng canapes will follow the same formula, no? Depende pa din sa gumagawa nito. Alright, let's continue the discussion. Now, for the parts of canapes, let's discuss further. So, katulad na nabanggit, base is the foundation of the rest of the canape. And base must be firm enough not to hold the spread and the garnish and give a pleasing texture and crispiness to the canape. So, what are the suggested canape bases? So, these are the just suggested canape bases. We have the bread croutons, the toast cutouts. For the bread croutons, ito lang yung parang toasted bread tapos hiniwa-hiwa ng maliit, no? Kung ayaw mong gumawa ng toasted bread, tapos hihiwain mo siya, slice mo siya ng maliliit, then you can buy bread croutons in the supermarket or in the market. There are a lot of available croutons there, no? Galing na may iba't ibang brand. Yung toast cutouts naman, ayan lang, no? You use biscuit cutter, no? Pwedeng star shape, triangle, square, tapos ito toast mo lang yung bread mo, then ika-cut mo siya. That's toast cutouts already, which can also be used as base for our canapes. So, small size lang lahat yan. Other suggested canape bases are crackers, no, flatbread, and unsweetened pastry shells. For crackers, I know you are all familiar. Mga biscuits yan. And it comes also in different sizes, no, and shapes. So when we say flatbread, ito yung mga feta bread that we discuss in sandwiches. Diba? Yung types of bread that we discuss in sandwiches, flat siya. Manipis lang siya. Very thin slices of bread. And then for another suggestion of canape bases, we have unsweetened pastry shells. Ayan, just like what you see in the slides, no? Yung unsweetened pastry shells, ito yung mga ginagamit as bases for making tarts, mga fruit tarts, etc. Tart making. Mga maliliit lang siyang shells, pastry shells, no, na pinatigas. Okay, other suggestion for canape bases, we have of course the chips, the cucumber cups, and biscuits. Okay? So, sa chips, very famous yan, no? Andiyan yung mga tortilla chips, potato chips, etc. na nilalagay lang ng mga dips, no? Dinidip lang natin, appetizer na yan, canape na kagad yan. You also have the cucumber cups, no? Pag cucumber cups, as you can see, yan, para siyang maliliit na cup, no? Small cups. This is actually a cucumber which is cut into 3 pieces. Pinagka-cut natin into 3 pieces. And then, ginagamitan natin siya ng melon baller, no? Yung parang pangbilog or pangtanggal ng melon. Or spoon, pwede na rin. And then, we create a well, no, in each cucumber for us to form a cucumber cups. And then, from there, no, from that particular cucumber cup, lalagyan na lang natin siya. Yan ang pinaka-base natin. Lalagyan na lang natin siya ng spread. Lalagyan na lang natin ng toppings and some garnishings. Ayan. Then, we can create na a particular canape. And of course, biscuits, no? Mostly sa biscuits, ginagamit natin din mga fita biscuits, no? Yung Hansel biscuit, no? Mga flat kasi siya, mga small. And talagang pag ginamit mo siya as bases, no? As base for canapes, masarap talaga ang outcome. Alright. And then lastly, for our suggested canape bases, we also have the polenta cutouts. Yung nakikita niyong polenta cutout, yung dilaw dyan, this one here, ito po, yung dilaw. Ayan, ang polenta kasi parang Italian dish siya, nagawa sa coarsely ground corn, no? Giniling na mais, no? Tapos ginagamit siya talaga for toppings para sa, ang perfect toppings diyan, ginagamitan siya ng perfect toppings na rich meat sauce, parang katulad na ginagawa natin sa pasta, 'di ba? Pag nagpapasta tayo, 'di ba, nagagawa tayo ng rich meat sauce niya. Ayan. So, ganun ang ginagawa talaga sa polenta. Pag ang polenta cutouts na, siniwa-hiwa mo na yung coarsely ground corn na yan, para siyang porridge kasi. So, pag ini-slice mo na or cut out na natin siya into desired shape, ayan, pwede na natin siyang gawin as base for our canapes. No? And then lastly, we have the miniature pancakes. Ito yon, yung maliliit na pancakes lang. No? Usually, nilalagyan na lang natin siya ng mga glazes, no? Tapos, pwede na siya as canapes. Pwede na natin siyang iserve as our canapes. Alright? So, once again, those are the suggested canape bases. So, at least now, no, if you will be making canapes for birthday celebration, for special events, or even weddings, no, for special occasions, at least you have the idea on the different bases that you can use, no, canape bases that you can use for your parties. Alright? So, now, again, no, just a reminder, this finger food can usually be consumed in a single bite, and then they are often served as appetizers or entree before the main course. And typically, this consists, of course, of a thin slice of bread or a cracker, which is covered savory ingredients like sausages, seafood, olives, cheese, or caviar. So, that's it, no? Next. Okay. Where are we now? Okay, naulit siguro. Ayan, dito na tayo. Ayan, number 2 na tayo. So, the next part of canape is what we call the spread, right? So, when we say spread, this is, of course, no, placed on top of the base so the garnish sticks to it without falling off. In the topic sandwiches, no, we also discuss spread. Alam natin na itong spread na to, sila yung nag-hold, no, sa ating mga tinapay and also sa ating mga filling, no, para hindi siya mag-absorb directly ng tinapay at hindi huhulas or hindi malalaglag, no. So it is used, no, to yung so that the garnish sticks to it without falling off. Basically, there are 3 types of spread used in canape making. So we have the flavored butter, ayan, and then we have the flavored cream cheese, and lastly, the meat or fish salad spread. So when we say when we say flavored butter, no, of course, ayan, sa nakikita ninyo, we have a lot of flavored butter that we can purchase, we can buy in the market. This is made from softened butters with flavorings. So, halimbawa, iso-soften mo yung butter, then you can add it or you can place it on the top of the base, no, kung ano man base yung ginagamit natin. Flavored cream cheese naman, obviously, mga cream cheese yan, iba-ibang flavor ang cream cheese natin. chicken, no? So, para sometimes you can also mix butter, no? Butter mixture of cream, parang mixture of butter and cream. So, that's it, no? Flavored cream cheese siya. And for the meat or fish salad spread, no? Ito yung mga parang mga meat ng tuna, bologna, mga ham chicken, etc. Ham or chicken, pwede siya. Alright, so these are yung mga meat or fish salad spread, no, made from finely chopped meat, no, fish that are spreadable. Basta yung ginagamit natin na spread, pag meat or fish man yan, dapat spreadable yan, no? Season should be checked carefully to make the spreads more stimulating, no, to our appetite. So again, flavored butter, flavored cream cheese, meat or fish salad spread are sometimes used as spread, no, in canape making. And lastly, for the parts of our canape, we have of course the garnish. A garnish, any edible. So again before we allowed garnishings na non-edible or not edible. Now, today, no, we do not allow yung, as much as possible, dapat yung garnish natin or garnishings natin, whatever food type ang niluluto natin should be edible. So, a garnish is any edible combination of items which is placed on top of the spread. And this is, of course, used to add accent and add flavors to the canape. So, a garnish is any food item or combination of item, no, na nilalagay sa ibabaw ng canapes natin, and usually gives color, it usually gives design and texture or flavor accent to our canapes. Mas nagiging colorful, mas nagiging magandang tignan yung ating mga canapes, no, aside sa masarap siya, mas nagiging maganda siya tignan because of the garnishings. So, a garnishings can be a vegetables, it can be a pickles and relishes, no? Pwedeng parsley, pwedeng radish slices, we can use olives. Na yung olives are the ones being used, diba, sa pizza as pizza toppings. We can also use pickle slices. We can also use asparagus tips, tomato chutneys, and all that. Okay? Next. Other than that, other than vegetables, pwede rin tayong gumamit ng fish, tuna plates, sardines, shrimp, salmon, oyster caviar, no? In what we call this, in decorating our canapes or yung as canapes garnishes. So, a caviar is a fish eggs, no? A caviar is what we call fish eggs. So, we can use it as our garnishes or garnishings in our canape making. And also, other than those mentioned, we can also use meat, salami, ham, ayan, chicken, turkey, roast beef as our garnishings or toppings for our canape making. And lastly, we can also use, of course, cheese. No, pag sinabing cheese, marami yan eh. We have mga cheddar, parmesan, mozzarella. We can also use mga hard-cooked egg slices, ayan, and all that, just to decorate and to enhance, of course, the flavor, the texture, the color of our canapes. Alright? So, next. Okay, now, how to assemble canapes? Basic, no? Napakadali, napaka-easy lang. These are some suggestions or guidelines in assembling our canapes. Of course, number 1 in here is good mise en place, sabi dyan. Good mise en place is essential. As we all know, when we say mise en place, no? Pag sinabi nating mise en place, it is a French term, no, for having all our ingredients measured, having all our ingredients cut, peeled, no, slice, grate, at kung ano-ano pa. So, before we start cooking, we prepared everything. We organized everything. So, pati yung mga pans are prepared, mixing bowls are prepared, tools and equipment are already set. So, it is a techniques, no, usually ginagawa ng mga chefs, no, to assemble food na mas mabilis. So, ayan. So, dapat yung meron tayo, una natin gagawin is a mise en place. Prepare everything. No? And then, assemble as close as possible to serving time is the second guideline. If the serving time is, say, for example, 7 p.m., then as much as possible, you prepare and assemble your canapes close to the serving time, not earlier. Kasi di na siya advisable. Okay? So, dapat, halimbawa, kung 7 p.m. ang event, no, pwede ka nang mag-assemble ng, halimbawa, 5 5 o'clock, 5:30, 6 p.m. Ayan. Select harmonious flavor combinations. Of course, 'di ba? Sabi ko nga sa sandwich topic natin, dapat nagko-complement ang mga flavors nila, no? Hindi mo pwedeng gamitin kung ano lang, kunyari ang available mo doon ay ang spread mo ay sweet, tapos gagarnishan mo siya ng spice, lalagyan mo siya ng spicy na meat or what, savory na meat, hindi siya nagka-complement. So you should select harmonious flavor combinations in spread and of course in your garnish. Make sure that at least one of the ingredients is spicy in flavor. Alam nyo, isa sa mga talagang characteristics ng canape ay salty and spicy, katulad ng nabanggit ko kanina. So, it is often desired that a canape be either salty or spicy in order to encourage guests to drink more. At parang kasi canape is an appetizer. So, to boost the appetizer, to stimulate the appetite rather of your guests, therefore, at least dapat isa sa mga ingredients ng canape mo is spicy. And of course, number 5, given na to, no? Matik na yan. Use high quality ingredients. Dapat fresh, no? Kung gagamit ka ng mga meat, ng mga vegetables, it must be fresh. And kung gagamit ka ng mga bread cutouts, of course, dapat fresh ang bread mo para talagang masarap ang lasa ng canapes natin. And keep it simple. Huwag masyadong maraming decorations. Huwag masyadong madaming toppings. Tas yung instead na yung purpose mo mapaganda siya, lalo siyang pumangit kasi nasobrahan naman. And lastly, for the guidelines in assembling canapes, I arrange canapes carefully and attractively on trays. So I have here again yung parang board, no? Ayan, display board. We have here the display board of the different canapes. So arranged on a tray, which is decoratively arranged on a tray. Can you imagine nasa party ka and you have a lot of options, no? Sana canapes presented and prepared sa mga table. Talagang magaganahan kang kumain. Alright? So once again, no, this is what we call the topic on the preparation of appetizers, specifically canapes. And in this lesson, diba, you have learned the definitions, the descriptions of canapes, and also the parts of canapes, plus the different ingredients that we use in making canapes, and also the guidelines on how to assemble canapes. So I hope natuto tayo for now. Natuto tayo sa lesson natin today or sa discussion natin today. And thank you for listening until the next topic to be discussed. God bless everyone. Ingat po tayong lahat.